And this is even with COVID-19 intensifying in some regions. But let's look at the big picture. The claims have been running in the millions. Reflecting the harsh economic impact of the pandemic. The fall for now, though, the positive. Numbers this week again are a little bit better than what economists.
Waiting for the chop there. Waiting for the chop. Hey, Mark's Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Whoa, we're going to take a deep dive. We're going to take a deep dive into the issue of racism or race-wasm, right? Because now we're all better. Now as a American society, there really is no more racism because we all see eye to eye again, right? We're all walking hand in hand and we're arm locked and arm locked. All right, we're all one people, right? We're all together. We're all alone together. All right, but there's no more racism. But Don Lemon, the genius at CNN, the black man who uses the N-word freely. We might be using the N-word today. A white man, white Marcus Conte, might be saying nigger. Right? Can a white man say Negro? Nigger? Ooh, wow, YouTube's going to cut me off for saying nigger. Wow, such a bad word, right? It has such a foul, like it's a fucking smell in the air when you say that, right? Nigger. Right, because it has all these connotations of white supremacy, stringing up black people and black oppression. All those crazy thoughts come up. But why is the word nigger still being used by blacks? Why do blacks still routinely say Negro or nigger? That's my nigger. Why is that? And then when a white person says it today, right, we'll probably get cut off. Right? We'll probably get censored by some racist Negro who's going to come in and say, "That white man used nigger. He said nigger. He said nigger. I heard him. He said it. He said nigger. He can't say nigger. Only black people can say nigger. That nigger. He said nigger, man. That nigga said nigger." Right? And you get into that whole argument. So we're going to try to diffuse the N-word, and the Negro word. Right? We'll see if we can help there. We're going to try to help, right? Because that's all we're trying to do here. We're not trying to offend anybody, right? If the word offends you, then that's your fucking problem, right? That's like when you be a dick in the chat, right? When you're a dick in the chat, you get cut off, right? Because you're being a dick, right? But when you're trying to, right? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the N-word, right? So I already said it 3 times, right, or more. So let's see if the stream survives. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Raymond Duncan is here. That what? I saw Magazoo. Magazoo is here. Magazog is here. John Caitlin. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, everybody. And we're going to try to be gentle because, there is this fundamental problem in this country. Right? When I interviewed a guy yesterday, right? On the street, that fine gentleman, the kid that was out of jail for a while, and Juicy Jizzy, whatever his name is, right? We're talking to that guy, right? Why is there such a cultural divide in this country? Are blacks racist? Are whites racist? Are we racist people? Right? That's the issue that I want to talk about. It's the thing that I want to touch on today, and it's a very edgy, it's a very touchy subject. So talk about that. All right, so you got to ask yourself, and I'm going to try to be as forward as I can. And if I offend some people, that's your problem. Right? But why are blacks in this country, in all the time, in all of our American history, why is it that blacks, of all the people in this country, in this great nation that come in, all the immigrants that come in, the Chinese come in, before you know it, they own things, they own stores, they own restaurants, they own properties. The Italians, they came in 100 years ago. There's a governor. There's a fucking, there's so many people, right? The Italians, they run so much shit in the cities, right? They own homes. They're property, guys. They own businesses. they're Wall Street guys, right? Why is it that the black community persistently could not get ahead in this culture? And we're always in a position. And again, I worked in welfare for a short period of time, for almost a year, and I saw, thousands of dollars of unseen money going to help people that allegedly can't help themselves. They're getting free rent. They're living in, $1,200, $1,500 apartments, and their rent is paid completely. Their food stamps are $600, $800. They get one-shot deals to pay electric bills and buy furniture, and all. They totally work the system. $50,000, $70,000, $80,000 per family, right? That comes out of the public kitty to fund these people. Now, you can get pissed off about that. And you could also get pissed off about corporations like Amazon who don't pay any tax. They steal $35 billion from us, right? That's billions and billions of dollars in tax money that doesn't hit the real economy. But why is it that blacks, in particular, have not been able to integrate or acclimate into society? And why now, what I'm starting to observe is roaming gangs of blacks, empowerment. Now, I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet, right? In saying that New York City is becoming a violent place and there's gang violence returning and people are getting burglarized in the streets. But there is some sign of it, and I will keep you informed as I start to unfold that thing on my spy cam. I stumbled on a little bit of it yesterday, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure where it all goes. So I just want to explore a little bit of that and see what everybody else thinks. And there's other stories too. We'll talk about COVID-19. This shit is going off the radar. Now they're saying it causes brain damage. It's fucking. It's sick. It's sick. People getting shot over masks and stuff. So let's jump into these stories. We'll talk about. There's a whole bunch of stories today I'll talk about. So Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Marcus in the morning. Here we are. It's marcusconte.com. Kindly become a Patreon of this channel. You can make a one-time contribution through PayPal by hitting the tip jar, or you can become a monthly subscriber at Patreon for as little as $2 a month, and I send you some free stickers. You get to fuel this great news media that we're doing here. So this morning I'm out, right, and it occurred to me that everything is changing. I had a great conversation with this guy on the corner this morning. This guy named Vinny, right? He's the same age. He's Italian. He grew up in an Italian neighborhood. He grew up here his whole life, and I asked him the question. He grew up in Brooklyn his whole life, and I asked him the question: why is it? I'll tell you what I asked him, but in a second. You know what? Yeah, let's look at this first, and then I'll tell you about Vinny. So in Bay Ridge, we don't have, in this neighborhood, there's no homeless shelters. People just don't tolerate it, right? If you go into like Bedford-Stuyvesant, if you go into some of the minority neighborhoods in New York City, there's always homeless shelters and people. But in this neighborhood, in a white, Italian, Irish, working class neighborhood, there's no homeless shelters. They don't tolerate it, right? For whatever reason. But I did observe on the corner today, while I was out exercising. I ran like 3 or 4 or 5 miles. I don't know how many miles I ran. I just kept running until I feel good. And I did observe on the picnic table that I often sit at and hang out. This. And what is this? This is meals for the homeless just tossed out onto the street in boxes. Check this out. Right? Breakfast. Halal breakfast for you. Right? Free food. Free food. Get food, New York City. Wow. Right? Now you see the gate is open inside the park. The parks are back open again. What does it mean, right? What does it mean? Produced on June 30th. Served by August 30th. All right, there's a homeless guy fucking sleeping on the bench at 7 o'clock in the morning. Right, what is going on? Right, see, there's a cosmic shift going on. We're feeding the homeless everywhere in all the parks. Someone's dropping off free food, right, and that's a good thing, right? I think that's a good thing. We're feeding people, we're outreaching. But here's the problem, right? The park that I always these parks, right? Evidence Evidence is everywhere. Evidence in what is going on in the world is everywhere. Right? All you have to do is look at the details. If you look at the details around you, and you start to, and you talk to people, right? Talk to people. It's very, very important to talk to your neighbors, talk to people that you meet, talk to people that you don't know, right? Because this mask shit is designed to keep everybody very isolated and not talking to each other. Stay away, 6 feet. Right? It's designed. It's a gaslighting tactic to keep people from talking to each other, to understand one another. Vilify people. Oh, they got a mask on. I don't want to talk to that people. People stop talking to themselves in public. But what I want to know is, since everything is changing, right, in my neighborhood, I never saw, here's the evidence and the details, I never saw litter thrown on the ground. In all the years that I've been living in this neighborhood in Brooklyn, I've never seen where because I exercise sometimes on the bench. I'll do push-ups off the bench, and I'll lay down on the bench, and I'll do sit-ups. I'll do all kinds of stuff, right? I make use of the public, public parks. And I never noticed where the people that live here, if you sit down at a bench and you eat, you never take your shit and throw it on the ground. You throw your bag on the floor. You take your water bottle, you drink it, and you throw it on the floor. You have a beer and you fucking leave it there. I never saw that kind of behavior in this neighborhood. So something has changed. Right? Something is different. Now what you see is this. Right? So I'm walking around this morning, and it just pisses me off. Right? See what's going on here? Right? Look at this, man. Look at this. Just thrown out into the park. Someone's fucking shoes, right? Someone's goddamn shoes just thrown out into the garden. Thrown out. Walking by, right? Litter. Who fucking eats like this? Right? That's what I want to know. This is what pisses off people when you come into a neighborhood and you have no respect. Look at this. Someone's hot sauce. Now, I know who did this because I saw them do it. Right? And I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there quite yet. But I know who did this. It's people that are not from the neighborhood. Right? Or people that have no fucking respect. Right? That's what's going on. We have a breakdown of respect. And this is not going to go on because people are going to start getting pissed off. Right? This is the park that, the very lonely, empty park that I usually walk around, Cannonball Park, with the beautiful trees and the beautiful flowers. And now I got to deal with this every morning. Evidence in the detail. And there's the garbage pail. Right? You can't walk over to the fucking garbage pail and put your garbage in the garbage pail. Look at this. You know what I mean? It's just a breakdown is what we're seeing. We're seeing a breakdown in so many areas of life. But it's like, what do you do about it? You got to have somebody come in and clean it up. What happened? Why not just clean up after yourself? Why not fucking clean up after yourself? Why do you gotta throw your shit on the fucking ground? Why do you gotta do this? You drink your water and you just throw it on the floor. Garbage pails an inch away. Okay, you want to sit down because you're afraid of germs, you want to put something down and sit on it, and then you just walk away from it, leave it there, later. Not a fun. Yeah, that guy Vinny was from Slack. He was from Brooklyn. He's a good guy. So anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to preface the thing going forward with, in my neighborhood where I live in White Bay Ridge, mostly White Bay Ridge, you don't see this kind of thing. And now you've got this crossing over where people are just rushing into parks and they think that everything is free and everything is, you bring yourself with you, right? When you go to someone else's house, you try to acclimate to the rules of the house. The house rules. You don't fucking grab with two hands and such. You don't litter in the parks, is what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to preface going forward what I'm going to say. So let's look at everything through that lens moving forward. I'll make more points about it as we go along because I really don't know what I'm seeing yet, sort of. I just don't like it, that's for sure. So California security guards charged with murder. This is what we're talking about, right? The whole fucking, everything is upside down. Left is right, right is left, up is down, down is up. These are some beautiful guitars that they're trying to sell us right here, but we'll look at those later. California security guard charged with murder after face mask dispute. A California security guard has been charged with murder after allegedly shooting a man dead during a dispute over a face mask. 32-year-old was working as a guard in a market Sunday when he began arguing with a 50-year-old after he entered the store without a mask, according to the Los Angeles DA. Lewis decided to visit the store as he was waiting for a tow truck to repair 2 flat tires on his vehicle, police told CBS. Under the state's cover your face mandate, all residents must wear a mask while inside most public spaces. Lewis then left the store, but returned later and got into a physical fight with Hawkins. As Lewis was walking away, Hawkins drew a gun and shot Lewis, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Wow. That's fucking crazy. So the security guard shot him dead. Hawkins' wife, 50, was also charged in connection with Lewis's killing. Carter had been waiting in the parking lot for Hawkins, blah, 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 blah. Wow. It's fucking sick, right? That's sick. Over a face mask. Motherfucker, right? He shot me. Guy lost his life. Guy lost his life over a face mask. Here's another interesting story. We're going to get into this Don Lemon thing. It's like a 7-minute video of Don Lemon, right, CNN guy, just totally debunking the whole idea of white privilege. I know it's long been known. Like I'm excited to get to it, but I just want to preface it with all these stories first, and then we'll get into it. But Don Lemon has always been an advocate of blacks, of that that the whites have white privilege. But in this video, you're going to see he totally debunks it, and he totally gets it. Right? And it throws the whole argument, the whole white privilege argument out the window. That's why it's an important piece, right? I don't think he realized it, but he just unwound the whole thing. I don't know what these cops are doing here. Underworld prison with torture chambers discovered in Dutch town. Oh, that's what this is. Check this out. So they found some torture chambers. Dutch police.
Politie! Politie!
Politie!
Politie! Politie! Politie! Out the fight!
So they have torture chambers, underground prisons, and that's a torture chamber. A fucking chair with pliers. It's crazy, right? It's in Holland. It's not in the U.S. It's in Holland. You think of it as a free country. It's just a fascinating thing. Let's read about what the hell we're seeing here. So Dutch police said they discovered a twisted underground prison with soundproof torture chambers to stifle prisoners' screams. Wow, that's fucking crazy, right? Who are they torturing? We don't know, right? The operation uncovered 7 shipping containers converted into prison cells and torture chambers during a warehouse raid in Wuzang Plandang, a village at the border in Holland at the border, the southern border of Belgium, on June 22nd. So they're releasing it late. Video released by police show heavily armed officers blasting up a door, blah, blah, blah. 6 of the containers were intended as cells in which people could be tied up, and 1 container was intended for a torture chamber. That's pretty fascinating. Look at this fucking thing, man. Holy shit. Right? Damn, it's got handcuffs. All right? They're going to torture your ass. They're going to pull out your fucking fingernails, right? What else? They got like pliers. What else? What other kind of equipment? There was some serious equipment in there, right? Oh, yeah. And they also found 52 pounds of the drug MDMA. Stolen weapons in a vehicle and stolen vehicles. A dentist chair. It said something about, here it is. Torture devices included hedge cutters, scalpels, pliers. Fucking rip your fucking shit out, right? I don't know what this is about, but it is interesting that a torture chamber, some kind of underground prison, was discovered in Holland. I hope we find out more about what's going on there. That's weird. That's a fucking weird thing. So let's talk about the economy briefly and how COVID-19 and the deadly flu, the deadly virus that has stopped everything and everybody, at least where I'm from, right? 53% of restaurants closed during COVID lockdown have shuttered permanently. 53% of restaurants closed during COVID lockdown have shuttered permanently. Wow. 1 in 2. Now, in New York City, I think the success rate of a restaurant is about 25%. 75% of all restaurants that try their hand at restauranting in New York City fail. And here we have 53% of all restaurants are fucking not coming back. Right? This is crazy. Why? Because of I believe the way we handled it, the way the situation was handled, right? You know, it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's keep going. What else did we find out? NYPD limits retirement applications. So cops are pissed off too, right? Now NYPD limits retirement applications amid 400% surge this week. Cops are running for the door in New York City. Why? Because the whole system is up in the air, right? They can't do business the way they used to do. They can't just, arguably shoot people in the back. They can't, if you don't do as I say, then you're putting my life at risk. I said, put your hands behind your back, motherfucker. And if you don't do it, I'm going to fucking kill you. Right now they can't do that anymore, so they're all running for the door. 400% surge in cops trying to retire. New York's finest are putting in for retirement faster than the NYPD can handle, while citing a lack of respect and loss of overtime pay, the Post has learned. A surge of city cops filed papers during the past week, more than quadrupled last year's number. As the city grapples with a surge of shootings and the stampede caused a bottleneck that's forcing others to delay putting in their papers. NYPD said Wednesday 179 cops filed for retirement between June 29 and Monday, an astounding 411% increase over the 35 who filed a year earlier. Wow. The astonishing rush for the door came as 503 cops filed for retirement May 25, the day George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis, sparking anti-cop protests around the country. So what does it say about policing? What does it say about copping? What does it say about, this whole thing? I think that, I had a talk with a guy outside this morning, and it turns out that he was a cop. He was an NYPD cop, and he argued that the police are doing 100% their job across the board. And I just couldn't disagree more. Although they are doing their job, the nature of their job, the nature of the way they police must change. We have to find a more humane way to without appeasing people. People are arrested so that it prevents people from breaking that law. You get a ticket, right? Your car, if you park your car in the wrong place and in front of a fire hydrant, they tow your car, and it costs you, 2 months and $1,000 to get your car back. Right? They do it for a reason, so that you don't park your car there. Right? And you could say, well, that's bad policing, but it's a deterrent. If you didn't enforce that law, then people would park in front of the fire hydrant, and then a building would burn down, and everybody would die because the fire department can't get the fucking hose in the fire hydrant because your car is in the way. So I get that part of it. I understand that part of the argument. But there has to be a more humane way of arresting people. Right? Shooting people in the back while they're running away from you, using it, pulling out a taser and losing the fight to a drunk. The case of Rayshard Brooks. You lost the fight to the drunk. He took your taser and he turns it on you, and then you kill him while he's running away from you. There has to be a better way to do business. Right? So if the cops want to retire, I would say yeah, the way you were trained and the type of cop you are is really no longer necessary. We need people to run the police department that are open-minded, that can look at the situation and try to find reasonable solutions without appeasing criminals, without causing lawlessness. And I've always said, all right, so you have a rise in gun violence in the city. Well, that's your fault. That's your fault because you took your eye off of the Second Amendment. You said, no. We'll just pack the city streets with cops with guns, and everybody else will protect everybody else. It doesn't work that way. If you let people defend themselves, if you have a armed society, you then develop a polite society. Although some people would disagree with that. I think it's very, very, in my travels around, I've always seen that, right? I always feel more comfortable in areas where guns are allowed and open carry, and it just seems more polite and more respectable, if you know what I mean. And I've always found that criminals, criminal types are very, very much cowards. They tend to be cowardly, right? So there you go, man. So I can't read the chat. I'm not going to read the chat right now, but I hear what you guys are saying. Trump is the best president money can buy. What's this from? Marcus, the street is not joke. Too many bad hombres. Go to the Bronx. Christian Lifetime, New York City. Yeah, no, I know. It is. I said earlier, Christian, that I did notice that. I have been noticing the amping up of bravado on the street. I was behind, I told you, I was behind 34th Street, Penn Station, yesterday. I was riding my bike through. I was B&H is over there, so I went over to shop or just gawk. I go in there and I look at stuff, sometimes. And they have air conditioner, right? I get out of the heat for a while. And I did notice it. I did notice packs of young men, all black, wearing masks, wearing fucking Robin Hood masks and total face coverings, being accused of robbing people and being brazenly out in the open. So I hear what you're saying. I don't have enough evidence yet to say that I seen it, but I will. I'm working on it. But I'm with you on that. So what other news? Why are all my pages closing? Why are all my pages closing? The New York Post is cutting me off. Oh, there it is. All right. So let's talk about this insanity right here. The WHO, World Health Organization, acknowledges evidence emerging of airborne spread of coronavirus. Now, I don't believe it. I think that the evidence is already in that asymptomatic transmission of COVID-19 is very rare. I believe that statistic. I also believe that there are millions of cases, very low amount of death. I don't think that the face diaper actually prevents you from getting this thing, because I don't think it's airborne. It's mostly through touch, like every other virus and every other flu. And it comes from my professional experience in healthcare. I was a nutritionist. I studied healthcare, right? And also, that's a long time ago. But nonetheless, WHO wants you to be afraid that there is evidence this week. Next week they'll change it, but evidence of airborne spread of COVID. Let's see. The World Health Organization acknowledges there is evidence emerging of airborne spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus after a group of more than 20 scientists urged the UN agency to update its guidance on how the respiratory illness passes between people. We have, hold on one second. One second, I just got to do something. We still moving? Yeah, we're moving along. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Torture chamber, cops. Yeah, here we are. So the World Health Organization acknowledges there is evidence emerging of airborne spread of COVID-19, coronavirus, after a group of more than 200 scientists urged the UN agency to update its guidance on how the respiratory illness passes between people. Wow. just wow. In that last week, it's the same organizations. Actually, it was the Center for Disease Control and WHO. WHO, by the way, does not acknowledge Taiwan as a nation. Right? Just to give you an example of how fucking politically twisted they are. They've sided with China and such, right? So they want to get this whole mask thing in place, this decentralization, this shut down retail, right? Shut it down, choke out the small businesses that are there. Why? Because there's a real estate grab coming. People like Amazon, they're saying, real retail is deadly. Oh, if you go into a store, you're gonna fucking die. Watch in a year from now. Watch when all those stores are empty. They're going to change their tune. They say, no, it's not Airborne. No, mask. Oh, that was we've passed all that now. You don't have to do that anymore. And they're going to start buying up all that real estate. They're going to start positioning themselves. That's why all these decentralized, units, people like Amazon, are going to flourish in this pandemic. It's a transfer of wealth. Is what's going on. And this is a great way to do it, right? Keep scaring the shit out of people. Airborne. They give no evidence, right? There's no evidence. The Geneva-based agency previously said the bug spreads primarily through small droplets expelled from the nose and mouth of an infected person that quickly sink to the ground. That's what we've always known about flus. That's the fact, that it spreads through droplets, sneeze, cough, and it quickly sinks to the ground. It spreads through symptomatic people. If people are not sick, they don't spread a flu. Right? It's fucking logic. Right? We've always known that. But in an open letter, WHO published Monday in the Clinical Infectious Disease Journal, 239 scientists in 32 countries outlined evidence they say shows floating viral particles can infect people who inhale them. Wow. Just fucking wow. Because those smaller particles can linger in the air, the scientists had urged the agency to update its guidance. Right? So now you got people walking around with masks on, but they're touching everything and touching themselves. Right? I love it. They're touching everything, touching stuff, right? And then fucking with the mask, poking their eyeballs. What about the contact, right? So another sham, another scam, another fucking scam bit of research. Scientists warn of potential wave of COVID-19 linked brain damage. Oh, man. The world should brace itself for a possible wave of coronavirus-related brain damage leading to inflammatory diseases, psychoses, and delirium, scientists warned Wednesday. A new study from the University College of London described 43 cases of COVID-19 patients who suffered from temporary brain dysfunction, strokes, temporary brain dysfunction, strokes, nerve damage, or other serious brain effects. They don't even know what kills people. They don't even know the cause of death with coronavirus. And now they're piling on temporary brain stroke, nerve damage. Where does it end? It causes brain damage. This is fucking sick. This is sick. What else, man? It spreads through the air. It's causing brain damage. Please already, please. So let's talk about this.
A problem for people?
About this guy. I talked to this guy yesterday, right? And it was a great interview. He's a very interesting. He was a very interesting character, and we talked about neighborhood. And I said to him that I was I grew up in white Staten Island, and he grew up in black Bronx and Latino Bronx, and he had a lot of good points. And we talked about the 5G vaccination chip theory. Brilliant fucking theory. Brilliant theory, if you ask me. And but what I want to know, what I really want to know, and what Don Lemon is going to tell us is what's the difference between me, who grew up in a white neighborhood in Staten Island, and this guy who grew up in what he identifies as a kind of a rough Latino black Bronx. There's a lot of white neighborhoods in the Bronx too, but he identifies with a black one, and a black neighborhood, and he ended up in jail for 5 years, and became his identity and all that stuff, right? And how does he shake it? But so let's look at Don Lemon. Don Lemon is going to tell us. This is great. So Don Lemon, the CNN guy, who for the longest time has been like Whoopi Goldberg with this whole white privilege and whites have it better but listen to what he says. Listen to how he unwinds his whole fucking thing. Just listen.
Segment where we hold politicians, leaders, and pundits accountable for what comes out of their mouths. It's time now, again, for No Talking Points. The Trayvon Martin murder case got just about everybody talking about race, and not just specifically how it related to the case. It got some, many on the political right, wondering why the so-called liberal media wasn't talking about other problems in the black community.
Let's talk about race. Let's talk about black-on-black violence.
The outrage that I have is in the lack of really the national attention to what is an epidemic of crime in the black community, committed largely by blacks.
What?
All right, those are good points. Largely, most of the crime, the surges in crime we're seeing in the city are black on black. It's in Bedford-Stuyvesant, it's in neighborhoods where they sling drugs. And then it becomes a fight, right? It's a power vacuum, right? Because there's no police. And now the drug trade is coming back out onto the street. So they're shooting each other. It goes on all the time, right? It goes on all the time. It's black on black violence, right? It's not not yet anyway. It's not gangs banging, gang banging people walking through Central Park like it was in the 90s. But it's showing signs of coming back. So far, Don Lemon is willing to talk about black on black violence, which he was never willing to talk about, right? Now, he's supposed to be some smart, educated, white-speaking black guy, all right, right? He's a white guy. That's actually a smear to tell blacks, oh, you're acting white because you're speaking a full sentence or something like that. But so here's Don Lemon acknowledging black on black violence. Right? What else does he find?
Why aren't we talking about it? Good question. Actually, that's not a good question. We've talked about it many times on this show and on CNN. It's actually a good deflection, as I've said a number of times to a number of guests here on CNN and also on the radio.
David, do not do that false equivalent. That is
I'm not trying to equivocate, but outrage.
Yeah, but listen,
I'm not comparing
crime
that.
happens all the time, and because a crime happens, it does not mean that you should shift the focus from what happened here. Let's stick to this particular point.
Okay,
so
on this issue then.
Thank you.
So that's the reason I didn't want to discuss at length crime in the African American community or how to fix other ills that seem to be plaguing the community in general. But now that the jury has reached its verdict, one that everyone must accept, it's time now for some tough love on the subject. Someone on another network got the chance to go first because I couldn't go during the week. I'm only here on the weekend, so listen to this.
The reason there is so much violence and chaos in the black precincts is the disintegration of the African American family.
Wow. Whoa, that's racist. Bill O'Reilly just said the reason there's so much violence is the denigration of the African American family. Ooh. Oh my God, isn't that racist? That's white privilege, right? To say something like that, right? We've been saying it all along. Because why? Because it's an obvious observation. You got to have your head up your ass if you can't see it. Right? Bill O'Reilly has been saying it all along. See, that's what's called constructive criticism, right? If everybody sees that the problem that you're having is through your family denigration, your how is he saying it? Your disintegration of the family values, bringing people up to respect their community, not fucking litter, throw shit out on the street and shoot each other. Right, and strive for real opportunity, right, through family values, right? We've been saying it all along. That's constructive criticism, blacks, as constructive criticism. And Bill O'Reilly just told you. So is Don Lemon going to agree with him? Is Don Lemon, the black from CNN, is he going to let Bill O'Reilly say that the African-American family is disintegrated? Is he going to let him say it?
He's got a point. In fact, he's got...
You're damn right he's got a point, you fucking moron. Well, not anymore. You're not a moron anymore. Now you're... I love how they backdrop. CNN's got the statue of Christopher Columbus. Why don't you look over your fucking shoulder and say Christopher Columbus, that the blacks think Christopher Columbus is a racist? Why don't you fucking defend the statue at least?
More than a point. Bill?
Raised without much structure, young black men often reject education and gravitate towards the street culture, drugs, hustling, gangs. Nobody forces them to do that. Again, it is a personal decision.
Wow, holy shit, I can't believe I fucking said that. Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly stopped one fucking inch short of calling him the N-word. What? He said they're worthless. Look at this shit, man. He said, what did he say? Holy shit, I can't even remember.
Nobody forces them to do that. Again, it is a personal decision.
Right? No, the gang violence, the gang banging, right? Oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this, right? And Don Lemon, what's Don Lemon going to say?
He is right about that too. But in my estimation...
You can't make it up, right? It's like a moment of clarity, right? Don Lemon is waking up. Will blacks agree? Will blacks agree with what he's saying?
He doesn't go far enough. Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing.
So Don Lemon allows Bill O'Reilly to say that and says Bill O'Reilly didn't go far enough. He didn't go far enough. Wow. Let's see it. So we're getting, I guess what we're getting insight because we're white and we have white privilege, or I'm white and I have white privilege, I'm not able to see what goes on inside of the black mind because I myself I'm not qualified because I'm not black. Right? According to the blacks, I'm not qualified. See, you have to be, in order to give advice, you have to be a victim, right? See, according to their thinking, right, a doctor would have to have had cancer to treat cancer. A doctor would have to have had alcoholism or drug addiction to treat drug addiction and alcoholism, or he's not qualified, according to black logic, right? But a doctor can, in fact, treat a variety of diseases, even though he never had those diseases, right? The same can be applied to smart thinking people. I happen to be white, but I can see, because I live in a city and because I don't have my head up my own ass, I can see that blacks are disadvantaged for some reason. And upon further investigation, it's exactly what Bill O'Reilly is saying, and it's exactly what Don Lemon is now waking up to the fact. And it's exactly what they've been telling me all along, that if I point it out, I have white privilege and I'm a racist. And I've fought this, I have an open case with a guy who said I have white privilege at the Brooklyn Hospital while we were doing that investigation into the morgues over there. Over at Brooklyn Hospital, I have an open case with the New York State Division of Human Rights against a guy who said, "Get your white privilege out of here! Get your white privilege out of here!" So this hits home, right? And we're gonna, it's not personal. It's not personal. He said it on camera, and he's gonna have to defend himself. He's gonna have to defend that guy, that fat fuck. He's gonna have to defend himself and what he said, right? Against a white man. A white man, he ejected a white man from the hospital because he thought I had white privilege. Right? So I think Don Lemon is having a white moment. Is it a white moment, or is he having an epiphany? So he's going to give us 5 reasons, 5 instructions for blacks. Wow.
Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Some people, a lot of them black, gave me flack for saying that recently on the Wendy Williams show.
If you're sagging, it means, I think it's your self-esteem is sagging, and who you are as a person, it's sagging. Young. People need to be taught respect, and there are rules.
So George's son, you're telling me this video is 7 years old. Okay, I don't know that. It might be an old video. I guess it is. Yeah, 2013. Wow, I stand corrected. Okay, so it's an old video. It's an old video. So okay. All right, that changes things. That changes the perspective a little bit. And thank you for pointing that out. I did miss that. So it's an older video, but does that change anything? Does it even make it more potent? Does it make, because again, Bill O'Reilly isn't even on the air anymore. I should have caught that. But does it make it more or less potent? Does it make it less potent because it was done 5 years ago or 7 years ago? Or does it? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So let's continue. Let's continue as if it happened yesterday.
Sagging pants, whether it's Justin Bieber or no-name Derek around the way, walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word.
For our generation, what we did was we took the word and we took the power out of that word.
We took this word and we made it into poetry.
I understand poetic license, but consider this. I hosted a special on the N-word, suggesting that black people stop using it, and that entertainers stop deluding yourselves or themselves and others that you're somehow taking the word back. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the masser intended, acting like a nigger? A lot of...
Ooh, he said the nigger word. Wow. You're acting like a nigger. Ooh, those are fighting words, right? So is Don Lemon right in what he's saying? Yeah, he's saying, you saw Jay-Z say, oh, yeah, we're empowering, we're making the word poetry, and Chris Rock, it's poetry now. But is that really where it's going, right? And why is only a black allowed to say it and not a white?
A lot of African Americans took offense to that too, and I wondered if I gave the right advice. I really did. But confirmation came the very next day on my way home when I exited the subway on 125th Street in Harlem. This little kid in a school uniform, no older than
100% chance that Don Lemon does not or never lived at 125th Street in Harlem. 100% chance that he doesn't live in fucking Harlem, right? I challenge to anybody to prove that Don fucking Lemon takes the train up to Harlem every day. He lives on the Upper West Side or the Upper East Side, probably the Upper West Side where Rachel Maddow lives. Fuck you, you live in Harlem. You don't live in Harlem.
7 years old, he was crying his eyes out as he walked down the sidewalk with his mother. I'm going to be honest here. She turned to him and she said, I'm sick of you. You act like an old-ass man. Stop all that crying, nigger. Is that
called a child a nigger?
Taking the word back? Think about that. Now, number 3. Respect where you live.
Yes.
Start small.
Yes. Yes, respect where you live, my brother. That's right.
By not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering.
Damn fucking right. That's exactly what I was trying to say earlier, right? I have lived in white neighborhoods. I've lived in black neighborhoods. I lived in Chinatown. I lived in very, very messy places. And but where I am, you do not see that. You see upwardly mobile people, and nobody fucking litters. Thank you, Don Lemon.
I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. Right. A high school dropout.
You got to ask yourself, Don Lemon touches on the subject. Why is it that black America can't speak proper English? Why? Why is it talking like this and shit, fucking motherfucker, sucky motherfucker? Why is it that blacks cannot, for the most part, sew together a sentence? Or you listen to a conversation of young blacks talking and you really don't know what the hell they're saying. I mean, I find myself sometimes just eavesdropping, trying to figure out what the fuck they're saying. And well, I grew up here and I can kind of figure it out, but why? Why is there a different language? Why is there a different way about being black as opposed to being American? Right? It's very, very eye popping, right? So he's saying it. I'm not saying it. The black man is saying it. I'm just supporting the black man today.
Makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number one, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should.
Stop having
especially
babies.
without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues. So please, black folks, as I said, if this doesn't apply to you, I'm not talking to you. Pay attention to and think about what has been presented in recent history as acceptable behavior. Pay close attention to the hip-hop and rap culture that many of you embrace, a culture that glorifies everything I just mentioned, thug and reprehensible behavior, a culture that is making a lot of people rich, just not you, and it's not going to. That said, though, the political right is not off the hook.
Wow. Whoa. Wow. Holy smokes, man. Wow. So Don Lemon, even though it's an old clip, I don't know, it caught my eye. I guess Zero Hedge was covering it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was fascinating that he used Don Lemon as an example, and it brings us to the current times. Should we be appeasing gangs of young blacks who are now empowered, thinking that they're above the law, that anything they do? When we supported them in the rallies to say that that Black Lives Matter, stop shooting our people, that was a good thing. And if you don't listen to us, we're going to break a couple of things. But now it seems like it's going in a different direction, where we're gonna get together and we're gonna take Texas, or we're gonna start creating new drug spots because the police are not enforcing that again. They're doubling down on the crime, doubling down on the hip hop culture, doubling down, calling each other niggas, my nigga. Right? Where does it all lead? Right? So I don't know. It struck me as it moved me when I heard Don Lemon, who's someone who I wouldn't piss on if he was on fire, on CNN, make, since then, I guess, since it's 7 years ago, how many times has he argued tooth and nail for that white privilege exists, and that reparations, you got to give money to blacks for slavery. I was talking out of two sides of his head, so I give that. I don't know, man. That should be Don Lemon's fucking calling card now, right? So anyway, man. So thanks for letting me rant today. Thank you for joining me, Mark Conte reporting here early in the morning, here in New York City. So I hope that was helpful. What's the takeaway? Respect your neighborhood, respect others. If people see a term, a word starts with an N or any other word that offends people, give them a break, cut them a break, right? And try to learn from people that came before you. I remember in Washington Heights. I live in Washington Heights, and this older woman, Dominican, from Dominican Republic, and we were talking about politics. I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, and she was talking about other Dominican people in the neighborhood and the way they were behaving. Again, I'm a white person. I was living in a neighborhood that was 70-80% Dominican, 10% black. Very, very, very small minority of people were white. And I lived there for a short period of time, for actually a few years. And the woman said to me, when we were talking about politics and the way the Hispanic community reacts, she says, listen, why don't you people listen to the American people? Listen to what they're telling you. You want a way out of your poverty. You want a way out of your despair. listen to what they're telling you, you're killing your fucking self. Which made a lot of sense, right? I'm taking it out of context. But she basically said that the American people had the answer. The people that were here first, the people that are here the longest, learn from them. Learn how to deal with business. Learn how to deal with each other. Learn how to respect community is what the woman was observing, and I'm echoing now, right? All these years later, right? So anyway, man. Check out this week Don Lemon on CNN. I'm not going to check him out, but I hear what you're saying, man. So thanks everybody for sharing the chat. Thanks for joining me. Aaron Brooks is here. Bebop, thank you very much. Bebop in the house. Love to hear Cameo Masso. Chris Mike, thank you for your commentary. Christian Lifetime, New York City. Thank you, my brother from New York City. George's son. I don't think we're ever going to find out who George is. Indefension Appendianda. The impronounceable name is here. IA. I'm going to call you IA. IA is here. Jason Walsh. Jedi Mind Trick. John Balco. John Balco is here. What's up? Nick Lewis, 55, Pyramid 7 is here. Rose Renoff, TJ, what's up, TJ? And that one, and E. Martini on the wrench. If you get timed out today, man, whose problem is it? Whose problem is it if you got fucking time?